meeting is now being recorded.
Hey, Mark, I'm on the line.
Can you hear me now, Laura?
Yes, there you are.
Okay, great. Okay. Hang on just a minute. I'm going to get everybody's attention and get started.
Sure.
All right, I hate to interrupt everybody's lunch, but we want to try to catch up a little bit here this afternoon and launch right into our next presentation. So I want to grab that last piece of strawberry shortcake, something deliciousness. Go ahead and do that and started. So our next presentation is by Laura Moorfield with Ecova. And Laura was on our panel last night representing the top 10 PAR 30, PAR 38 lists that they're working on. And so today she's going to give us a little more background information on that and what they're doing, how they're rating these products, how they're testing them. And so, Laura, you're on the line?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Okay, you can go ahead anytime and just let me know if you want me to advance the slides. Otherwise, you can use the lower left-hand corner. There's up and down arrow, the down side.
Okay, great, I see it. I'll try that, and if it doesn't work, then I'll ask you to help me out.
Okay.
All right, well, thanks for letting me speak while you're eating dessert there. Sounds good. I was just going to give a brief overview, again, of what we're doing with this IEE Ecova Top 10 utility-funded project on best-in-class LED reflector lamp testing. I believe it was back in February at one of these meetings where Chris Caldwell from Ecova and Norm Dean from Top 10 gave a talk to share with you all what we were thinking and some different ideas we had for the research. Now the research is underway as of about last month, and so I can just provide you an update on the structure of that, how it's working, and where we are in the process. Feel free to chime in, and Mark, help me out if anyone has questions in their room. I don't have a huge number of slides, so I'm happy to take whatever questions along the way. Oops. And apologize for having to cut out of the panel yesterday. I'm on a different time zone, and I had another commitment. So there we go. So overall, the goal of this project is sounds fairly simple. Identify two lists of the 10 best-in-class, oh, something's getting cut off here, but it's PAR 30 and PAR 38 LED reflector lamps. So we're going to end up with a list of 10 each for those two sizes of LED reflector lamps. We are calling it the top 10 list, the best-in-class list. That's because there are a variety of people involved here. IEE, the Institute for Electric Efficiency, is serving as the overall project manager for this round of research, and they are contracting with Ecova, my group, to do the technical research and the testing, and then also Top 10 for developing their website to host these two lists and doing all the web development around that they normally do, as well as organize a stakeholder feedback committee. So they're real active in stakeholder outreach. I know many people in the room are part of the advisory committee or part of the clients. So this round of research is funded by 5 utilities and NEA, PG&E, SCE, NEA, Progress, DTE, Detroit Energy, and Mid-American. So it's really exciting to have a group of utilities who are interested in furthering this work. and getting a variety of input, feedback, perspectives from across the country. Some of you may or may not have seen this slide on history and purpose. IEE has presented this a couple of times since they have taken a lead on this team. But in summary, in 2011, their management committee recognized all the confusion that could potentially take place with the changing light bulb efficiency standards, both for general purpose and reflector lamps, LEDs coming on the market, things like this. And so they decided to develop some kind of guidelines. Housekeeping guide is what they were thinking at first. It morphed into a beta or pilot research project on best-in-class LED reflector lamps. So the first part of that research took place in the end of 2011. And right in 2012, actually, just in June, we really ramped up on this next round of research to build out our pilot testing and develop 2 more fleshed out top 10 lists, best-in-class list, depends who you are as to what you might call it. One thing that IEE was focused on is not just looking at the numbers for the lamps, but their members, or the members that expressed concern to them, really wanted just some additional certainty, some additional guarantee, or I guess guarantee is a strong word, but reduced risk that if their utilities were going to start rebating LEDs and putting more rebate dollars towards these products than they had for CFLs, some additional levels of assurance that they were really going to get light bulbs out there, new LEDs that people were going to like, not return, not be angry that they just paid $40 for. And so that's how we started expanding what we were going to look for in our evaluations. Why did we start with the PAR 38 and PAR 30s? This is a graph that my colleague Luke Mason makes and updates, and it looks like we need an update now. But it just shows how many and what kind of replacement lamps are on Energy Star's qualified product list. So these are screw-based, there's some pin-based, mostly screw-based LED replacement lamps. And that big blue wedge at the bottom is PAR-shaped lamps. You all know this, but LEDs are very well suited for reflector lamps, directional lighting, and that just tends to be the majority of what is on the Energy Star list right now. So that's why we've decided as a first phase to really look at the PAR 38s and the PAR 30s. I just asked Luke what this list looks like today. This only goes up through February, is that last bar there on the right. Right now there are more than 900 lamps on the qualified product list. So it's growing really rapidly. I think the proportions are roughly the same. Reflector lamps are still dominating it. So as other shapes increase in numbers here, for example, what we want to look at next are PAR 20s and MR 16s. There weren't enough at the onset of this research to really need to pull out 10, but going forward there will be, and so there's just going to keep being more and more opportunities to look for the best-in-class products everywhere. This is an overview of the methodology that we used in the 2011 pilot project. I'm showing you this because we're in the process of fine-tuning the methodology that we're going to use in this current round of research. And right now we're actively seeking input from our clients and the other people on the advisory committee about the process. But just as a starting place, here's what we've done in the past. There's a lot of this we want to repeat. There's some things we want to change. So it's basically a 3-step process. The first is screening, second testing, third is scoring. And then that bottom blue graphic down there on the bottom is roughly representing the number of lamps we're looking at. So we are looking only at lamps on the Energy Star qualified product list. There are a couple of reasons for that, but most of the utilities who are interested in this are rebating lamps, but they have to be Energy Star. So we set a cutoff date for lamps that are on the Energy Star list by X date. We'll consider in this round of research their updates down the road, so there are chances for lamps that qualify later to get on the list. And then we're sorting by lamp shape, confirming availability of the lamps. Can a regular consumer go buy this lamp at Walmart, Home Depot, lows. One of the things we're discussing with the advisory committee now, but we're really leaning toward a retail/residential focus for this. So the top 10 list is really geared for everyday consumers. A lot of light bulbs are available through commercial distributors or things like that, but they're not things the general public is going to interface with. We're really looking for the things that are the bulbs that are going to show up at the big box stores for this audience. And then once we screen down the Energy Star list to a smaller number of lamps, I think Kirsten yesterday said, you know, I think there are about 500 reflector lamps on there right now. Then we're going to go through, put those lamps that we select through a battery of tests. A lot of the tests listed are the exact same ones that are required for Energy Star. And since those are coming from third-party labs now, we're not going to repeat all of that unless we get a lamp somehow is wildly different from the claims, but I think those tests are really reliable now. The two areas that we're really going to focus on that other bodies don't cover right now are dimming and doing some human factors analysis. So I'll talk a little bit more about that next. Then the final stage of the process, again, this is what we did last time. There are going to be some refinements in this next round, are scoring the lamps, ranking them. How do we pick, 1 through 10 versus all the others? So we're in the process of really working on phases 1 and the methodology for phase 2 right now with our clients and advisory group, and then down the road we'll be revisiting our methodology for scoring and selecting the final list of best-in-class lamps. In addition to looking at the LN79 data that will come with any Energy Star lamp, the two factors that we're adding that are a little bit different are dimming and human factors. All of this is designed to reduce program risk, increase satisfaction, ultimately just support market transformation, avoid people getting LEDs in their hands that for whatever reason they don't like. The theme has been over the past few years, avoid the repeat of the early CFL. Fewer returns, which ultimately makes the programs more cost effective. With a dimming evaluation, and I'm calling it an evaluation because there's just no way for us to do a formal test procedure on dimming right now. I know you have probably had a lot of discussion about dimming. What we're trying to do within the time and the scope of the project is just to identify which lamps appear to be most likely to dim in a way that people are going to like in homes. So we're not looking at commercial lighting, dimming systems, or controls or anything like that. What we've done before that seems to work okay, and we're refining this process right now too, is to just take a regular, we'll look at a LED or CFL specific dimmer, one that is supposed to be compatible with LEDs, test each lamp that we're looking at on that. Do the same kind of testing on a traditional common incandescent dimmer, 600-watt rotary dimmer that is likely to be installed in people's homes now. And then do some mixed technology dimming by combining LED on a circuit with some halogen par lamps, see how that performs and if there are any changes. Obviously, we're not testing every dimmer out there by any means, every brand, anything like that. We're just trying to get a sense of are the lamps dimming in a way that people are going to be okay with. So we're going to be looking at smoothness of dimming. How dim do they get? Do they get 30% of light output, 10% of light output? How low do they go? Do they flicker? What is the restrike level? When you dim a lamp down to 30%, turn it off, flip it back on, does it come on at that same light output level, or do you have to start at full brightness again and start over with your dimming process? How does the color shift? Does it get cooler, incandescents get warmer? I think most people are looking for that, most residential consumers. Is there any audible noise? So some of these things people might consider annoying, but hey, I'm really into LEDs, so I'll try to